NoFap, semen retention, S3X transmutation. If you're on this channel, you're probably familiar with those three words, but you may not be familiar with what is the difference and how do they interlink. In this video, I'm going to explain what the difference of those three terms are and how they practically play out in your life, and ultimately how they're interconnected. Let's get into it. Hi, my name is Nakula and I help men master their S3X energy so you can become a powerhouse both in and outside the bedroom. Go to the link in the description below and take the free S3X transmutation guide. This is a free program I put together for you, and you get a 14-day free all-access pass into the Powerhouse Man training facility. These terms, NoFap, semen retention, S3X transmutation, they're all connected, but they're all distinctly different at the same time. So let's start with NoFap. I'm going to compare these three terms to elementary school, high school, and university. NoFap is elementary school. NoFap is giving up adult content, giving up self-pleasure and masturbation, so that you are giving up that addictive behavior or that detrimental behavior that's affecting your hormones, affecting your consciousness, affecting your mindset, and affecting your life. And anybody practicing NoFap, congratulations. You're already in a rare group of men who've decided that they're going to move away from the mainstream narrative that adult content and self-pleasuring is somehow a positive thing. It's not. This has been talked about for thousands and thousands of years in spiritual scriptures from all around the world, not just any one particular, not just Christianity, not just Muslims, not just Hindus or whatever, Buddhists. Every single spiritual tradition talks about preserving the life force or the essence. I'm actually reading right now the Tao Te Ching, and it comes up right there. Now, of course, the Taoists, I've learned a lot from the Taoist tradition about the transmutation of this energy, and they have gone way further than just NoFap. So this is not to say that NoFap is a bad thing, but I am saying that it's at a basic level. It's if you really want to feel the power of your S3X energy, you have to first practice NoFap. NoFap is like the starting point. And so that's the first step in being able to actually experience the university level, which is transmutation, which puts semen retention at the high school level or the middle level. So what is NoFap? It's the ability to give up adult content and stop jerking off. And then we get to semen retention. So semen retention is retaining your vital life force by retaining semen and sperm within your system and allowing your system to recirculate that energy or that physical nutrients, the proteins, the enzymes, the nutrients that are all found within the semen, and to allow the sperm to actually break apart within the body so that energy is then released and circulated through the system. It's also gives you the benefit of being able to stimulate your testosterone, especially within the first 10 to 14 days of semen retention. So semen retention is a great practice that allows you to cultivate your S3X energy, stimulate your testosterone, and ultimately it gives you that drive, that force to go get real S3X and be able to also use that energy to rejuvenate and revitalize your physical body. So semen retention in and itself is at a physical level. For example, Mike Tyson. So for example, people will say to me, well, Mike Tyson practiced semen retention and he didn't meditate. Yeah, but he also beat women and had a whole lot of anger issues and a whole lot of problems. And one of the reasons that is, of course, I mean, it would be a mistake to say it's semen retention that caused that. He had a very tough life. Semen retention definitely gave him that aggression. That's why he went 5 years of celibacy to become world heavyweight champion. Muhammad Ali would practice it as well. David Hayes, heavy world champion, 6 weeks before a fight. He's even famous to saying, even in his dreams, if a woman showed up, he would say, no, I've, not till after the fight. So the point is that semen retention in itself will give you tons of benefit, tons of energy, but it doesn't necessarily transmute that energy into something else. Because when you retain something, that something has to eventually go somewhere. So that energy has to be used. And this is now where you graduate to the university level of the practice, which is what I call S3X alchemy or transmutation. This is what Napoleon Hill in the book Think and Grow Rich was referring to in chapter 11, The Secrets of S3X Transmutation. Transmutation or alchemy means going from one thing to another thing that is more valuable. So the word alchemy was originally used for scientists trying to turn metals that weren't as valuable into gold, which was extremely valuable. So how do we go from something that is got value, but then turning the value up on it? How do we transmute it, alchemize it to actually shift the quality of the original substance? That's what transmutation is about. And this is where you have to take on some type of spiritual practice to do this. So there are many different spiritual practices that are offered in the world. The essence of them all, when you look at spirituality, not from a sentimental perspective, not just, I believe in God. It's great to believe in God. And faith is the starting point of anything. That's why in our society, when faith is being removed, right now, in my perspective, there's a systematic removal of people having faith. Because faith is the belief in something greater than what is currently in front of you. And everyone has faith. It's just, what do you have faith in? Some people have faith in money. Some people have faith in the government. Some people have faith in God. I prefer to put my faith in God than any man-made structure. But faith in itself, without knowledge, just becomes sentimental, and that's why it can become radical as well. And this is largely why people that are against religions or against spiritual communities or practices, or they don't see the value, is because many people in those congregations, and this is true for all religions, have faith but no knowledge. So their faith is in ignorance, meaning they don't really understand, but they've been told, and they've heard a charismatic preacher really tell them, you got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe. And they start to believe because they bank on the belief of the people around them, but they don't really understand what is going on. And that's largely why faith and religions can be stifled out. Because if you have faith without knowledge, or you have religion without spirituality, then what you have is a set of dogmatic practices that essentially mean nothing. And then people just become radicalized in those dogmatic practices. If you've got spirituality or you have knowledge but no practice, then you have an intellectual ability to discuss things, but you don't actually have realized knowledge because you're not practicing, so you don't really know. You can just intellectually go, yeah, I understand what's going on, but I don't have realized knowledge. Realized knowledge is different than book knowledge. So you can read the book, you can read the Bible, you can read the Gita, you can read the Quran, you can read the Buddha Sutras, you can read the Old Testament, you can read whatever you want. But unless you take on a practice, you still don't really know what you're reading. You might convince yourself that you do, but unless you actually apply it and know how to apply it, then it's realized knowledge. And realized knowledge is a whole different level of knowledge. The transmutation of your S3X energy is realized knowledge of NoFap and semen retention at its highest levels, because what you've done is you've taken your raw animalistic drive and you've actually amplified it and then turned it into energy for spiritual growth and for personal power and excellence. How do you do that? You have to take on a practice in which you extract the energy from the physical substance and learn to use it. Let me give you a basic example. In let's say wind energy, you've got the turbines. So the physical substance will compare to the semen is the wind. The turbine then uses that energy, collects it, and stores it. And if you know anything about an electric circuit, it goes into a transformer. That transformer is where it's then transmuted, transformed, alchemized into usable energy so that it can be distributed into light into your house or to your fridge to run or whatever you're going to use that energy for. Your body is an electric circuit. Your semen will compare to the wind is that it is a natural energy that is at the physical level of existence. The dantian or the lower elixir or the solar plex chakra, which is about, if you take 2 fingers beneath the belly button and go right into the center of your stomach area, that is where you'll find the dantian or the lower elixir in alchemy, or in yoga, they call it the solar plex chakra, which is ultimately your transformation center. Your transformation center from the bottom energy centers can take that energy and extract or create an energy that is different. It is essentially like, think water turning into, or like a ice cube turning into water that turns into gas. It's the same compound. It's the same chemical compound, H2O, but in different degrees or different states. And the way that you get it to be a gas is you have to heat it up to transform it, transmute it, or alchemize it. That same process has to happen in your body for your physical semen to be transformed in the dantian, then released to the heart, and then to the brain. If you don't pull that energy up through meditation, through practice, then that energy just compounds or stays in the lower centers, and that's why most guys end up relapsing. That's why most guys fail on NoFap and semen retention, because they never take it to the university level, which is, how do I actually use that energy in a conscious way? And that's what I struggled with for many years, trying to practice, okay, I'm not going to watch adult content, I'm not going to jerk off. And then a week goes by and I'm like, okay, let me go check something out and just, and it would be like a release of like, oh, thank goodness I can get my mind back. But then, let me take a little nap. I don't feel as energetic. I don't feel that motivation, that drive. And so I was stuck in that pattern for a number of years trying to practice NoFap until I ran into the Taoists, because I started to search. I'm like, there's gotta be more to this than just not, than what meets the eye. And there is way more to it, because actually I read in the Vedic scriptures, it said when the semen begins to flow upwards in the body, then the potential for enlightenment is there. And then I've read things on Christ and the idea of traveling 33 degrees, like in Freemasonry, or Christ was 33. It's the 33 vertebrae in the spine. And that this elixir would drop down. So we fell from grace in the Bible into our animal, or into our animal consciousness. We fell from the consciousness of grace or heaven, which is God consciousness or universal consciousness, and that it has to return, meaning that essence has to actually travel up the 33 degrees or the 33 vertebrae in the body and open up the crown chakra, or open up at the top, so that you can know God and know who you really are. So I was reading all these things. I'm like, there's got to be more to it. And that's when I found the practices of alchemy through the Taoist tradition, which actually taught this very process. And so what I've done is I've taken everything that I've learned in this process, and I've put it into a course called Become a S3X Alchemist, which teaches you how to control that energy, actually extract the energy from the physical substance, bring it into the Dantian through meditation and breath work, hold it and cultivate it there like a cauldron, which you're cooking that energy, and then turning it into gas, allowing it to flow upwards in the spine and circulate it around the body. Well, this was a game changer in my life, because when I started doing that, not only did I experience tremendous amounts of more energy, more self-control, more self-expression, all of my gifts started turning online. My business started to explode. My influence in the community started to explode. I ended up running for office. We're building this business, which is now a 6-figure and multiple 6-figure business is where we're headed to. We're going to scale this up to a 7 and multiple 7-figure business and 8 and 9 and take it as big and as far as we can go. And I've got all the energy in the world. I started to lose weight. So I started to actually get the results that the guys on YouTube were talking about. And everybody was saying, oh, I can do all these amazing things. Because I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not getting it. It's because I had all of these blocks in my body that I was unaware of based upon past habits, based upon my drug use, based upon my lifestyle. And the transformation of that energy not only allowed me to have material results, most importantly, it's expanded my consciousness, my awareness. I am a much more conscious person today than I was a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years ago. And even though I was reading all the books and I was praying and I was doing all the rituals, I didn't realize the knowledge until I started taking on these practices. So understand, NoFap is a great start. Semen retention is an amazing practice for all men. But if you really want to experience the secrets of transmutation, as Napoleon Hill calls it, and really know what it's like to live in a different dimension, to be in this world but not of this world, then you need to transmute that energy. If you're interested in doing that, then reach out and connect with me. You can book some time on my schedule, and either myself or one of our coaches will connect with you. We'll show you the trainings that we've got. We'll make sure that we're a right fit for you, and then we can move forward. And if you want some more information on the subject, go take the free S3X Transmutation Guide. The link is in the description, and get started with that free program to dive deeper. And I'll give you a routine that you can use so you can actually experience what it's like to actually open up your consciousness and feel into your spiritual body. I'll see you on the next video.